And now, the general weather around Alaska.
First up, there is still a winter weather advisory here for the western Arctic coast from Point Lay down to Point Hope for reduced visibilities due to winds gusting to 45 miles an hour, creating blowing snow. They're dropping visibilities down to a half mile or less at times. Otherwise, satellite imagery showing moisture, low pressure rolling quite rapidly up across the Kenai Peninsula here, moving into the Susitna Valley, the band of clouds there into the Tanana Valley, back into the northern Kuskokwim Valley. A lot of clouds, some showers down to the south here, and moisture spreading in over the Panhandle with a more solid band there along the eastern North Gulf Coast, right over Yakutat. Showery conditions back over the Bering Sea, and clouds for the central Aleutian areas, and areas of clouds all the way up to the Bering Strait there, with still gusty north winds across St. Lawrence Island back up to the Bering Strait, and of course on the western Arctic coast where that winter weather advisory is at. And rolling this through again, you can see the flow out here generally north to south and then turning southeast there, keeping showers going through this area. Next system down here to the south there, with most of the moisture off to the south of Amchitka Island. And for tonight, that front barely pushes enough moisture for some light precipitation up toward Kiska and Amchitka, maybe Shemya area. That's just a chance. It looks like the bulk of the moisture will kind of slide off to the south. Showers continue over the Bering Sea here, generally northerly wind flow due to the low pressure area over the southwest interior, producing clouds and showers in that area right up to the Alaska Range. And rain here along the Kenai Peninsula, eastern Turnagain Arm into Prince William Sound, pushing it in across all of the southeast coast here with a pretty large low pressure area there over the southern Gulf of Alaska. A few scattered showers in the interior, otherwise variably cloudy with some clearing. Continued gusty northeast winds through the passes of the western Brooks Range, and again gusting to 45 miles an hour along the western Arctic coast. And for tomorrow, rather breezy along the entire Arctic coast tomorrow with the windiest conditions again on the west side. Otherwise, stays wet here. Prince William Sound, some of that moisture getting into the Copper River Basin. Scattered showers, mostly cloudy skies for the upper Tanana Valley 40-mile country, all the way up toward Fort Yukon there. Periods of rain for the eastern North Gulf Coast and the Panhandle with some gusty southeast winds in advance of that front as it pushes in toward the southeast coast. So looking at showers for the Alaska Peninsula, snow showers up over the northern Bering Sea, St. Lawrence Island area, and a chance of rain here with that front staying to the south of the west central Aleutians. That slides eastward and pushes rain farther to the north with a pickup in the winds for Adak and Atka all the way over to the Fox Islands by late afternoon Friday. A break here over the Pribilof Islands, light winds down across the Alaska Peninsula. And actually pretty light winds all the way up to the Bering Strait now with a few isolated snow showers over the northern Bering. Maybe a few flurries here on the north slope, but the Arctic coast generally dry, as will be the Brooks Range. And then looking at some pretty good shower activity developing here in the central interior areas along the Yukon River down into the Tanana Valley. And moisture with this front looks like a wet day across southern Alaska from roughly the Kuskokwim Valley or the Alaska Range eastward here across the Copper River Basin. Again, pretty wet day, solid rain for the North Gulf Coast as well as the Panhandle. And then for the first day of the weekend, a trough keeps it cloudy and unsettled here for the eastern North Gulf Coast and southeast coast there. And mostly cloudy, showers south central Alaska, Bristol Bay, and showers all the way up to the Brooks Range there with dry conditions from the crest of the mountains on out to the Arctic coast. And pretty dry over the northern Bering Sea here, as well as the Seward Peninsula into the Yukon Delta. Nunivak Island could see some sun breaks. Another system here, or that system tracking eastward, actually pushes a front now up to the Alaska Peninsula. So rain, eastern Aleutians spreading on up in toward Kodiak Island. And for the lows tonight, anywhere from 5 below to 5 above again for the Brooks Range out to the Arctic coast, mostly in the 30s here, all the way down into Kodiak Island and the Aleutians, upper 20s for the Pribilofs, lower 20s St. Lawrence Island, and in the 40s for the southeast coast. Highs for tomorrow, 50s for the Panhandle, and afternoon highs anywhere from 15 to 25 into the Brooks Range from the Arctic coast. and anywhere from 50 to 60 degrees over the interior, mostly in the 50s south of the Alaska Range, 40s for the Bristol Bay area, and west of the Alaska Range, 40s cooling into the 30s out toward the coast, and 50s for the southeast coast. Lows in the 40s for the Panhandle for Friday morning. 30s here, much of interior Alaska, again all the way down to Kodiak Island, northward here to the interior valleys. 22 though for Kobuk, and about 13 for Kotzebue. 20 for St. Lawrence Island, and 5 below to 5 above for the North Slope and Arctic coast. Highs the following day in the teens from the Brooks Range out to the Arctic coast, otherwise mid 40s to lower 50s for the interior. Same thing for the Panhandle.